Shalom, shalom, shalom. Mic check, mic check. Can everybody hear me out there? If you can hear me, put a one in the chat. Make sure everything is good. Let me pull up some numbers. You dig? We're going to get into some weekly, monthly updates on what the trucks have been running for the past couple weeks, whether it's a RGN, a step deck. Might even get into a little drive-in tonight. That's going to be new for this channel, right? Because we always go over the open deck. We usually don't touch the closed deck at all, but because it's been the other end of holiday season, we've been testing out a couple of my friends, they've been testing out the drive-in and reefer market. So I might cover that tonight, right? So once again, if you can hear me, put a one in the chat. I'm your host, Marco Perkins with Trucking the Cash Flow, where we go over the market in the open deck industry for RGNs, step decks, flatbeds. I am a smaller fleet owner, and we do hire on operators and company drivers to drive our trucks as well. So you can inbox me on Instagram or text the number 985-771. Actually, that's not the number. What is it? 985-326-1699. We have like 3-4 different numbers. Once again, that number is 985-326-1699. If you would like a company position or an owner operator position, or you can send me a message on Instagram. All right, so let me pull up these numbers to see what these trucks has been running, and we'll get into it. So we're going to get into some numbers of what my actual trucks have ran. Then I'll get into some market conditions of what the numbers have been looking for, basically for everybody, or just for people that I've been monitoring and running with. And then we will answer some questions live that you will post in the chat, and also some questions that people have been leaving on the videos. I'm going to answer those live. So tonight is going to be a good night, really good night, because we're going to be able to answer these questions live. And I actually go over some crazy comments, man. There have been some people that's been leaving some crazy comments. They just been so mad that I posted this video about this truck that I bought, and I paid $7,000 for it. Man, y'all should see these comments. Maybe I can share my screen and show y'all what they've been posting with that. It's so crazy what they've been posting with that, man. It's wild. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into a little bit of that as well, and go over some things, some projections moving forward. All right. So once again, I'm looking at this chat. Let me know if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. I think my audio is good. Let me test it out right quick. Right. But I believe I'm good. It's a little drive-in tonight. That's going to be new for this channel, right? All right, cool. So we're good with that with the audio. Believe we're good. All right, so let's audio good. Got you. Audio good. We got us a 1. All right, bet. Let's rock and roll, you dig? So once again, shalom, shalom. My name is Marco Perkins with Trucking the Cash Flow. Once again, like I said, we go over, on this channel, we talk about open deck freight, the overdeck freight market. I'm a fleet owner on a smaller fleet owner right now. Um, we do hire owner operators to lease on with us. We also hire drivers, company drivers for my trucks and my partners' trucks that they have that's leased on to us as well. So if you're looking for a driving job to run a flatbed, a step deck, or RGN, hit me up on Instagram, or you can text 985-326-1699. Like I said, you can hit me up on Instagram at Trucking the Cash Flow or Mr. Marco Perkins on Instagram, right? And if you're looking to sign up as an owner operator and lease on, you could do the same as well. And right now, the season is, opening up for all field work. So we're kind of tapping into that as well. So we're going to go over a little bit of that tonight as well. But first and foremost, let's go into the numbers for the open decks, right? These are actual numbers, right? This is going to be a step deck. And I think, let's see. Let's for the new year, just to kind of let you know where we're at. This is a 53-foot step deck. This truck, let's see if I can share my screen. See if I can get this to work. Zoom in. Right. How can I do this? All right. Now I have to share my screen. And we're going to go over this one. So that's week 1. And then we have week 2. Cool. So this is going to be a 53-foot step deck. This driver is actually a new driver. Okay. Share my screen here. Share screen. All right. So everybody should be able to see my screen as of now. So this is going to be a 53-foot step deck. This is starting the year off, like the beginning of the year, because we run our weeks from Monday midnight, so basically Tuesday morning all the way until the next Monday at midnight, right? This is a 53-foot step deck. He started off in Bearden, Arkansas to Houston, Texas, and the rate was $1,000 for 370 miles. I know some people are going to be like, wow, 370 miles for just $1,000. I mean, hey, look, you see what we ended up with in the entire week, right? Our trucks, we do not focus on running a lot of miles, just to rip and run up and down the highway. We preserve our trucks as much as possible so we can be in business and stay in business when the market does shake back. The market is soft right now. It is down. So we have to compensate by running more shorter loads and then kind of trying to get that longer load over the weekend. So once again, this is a 53-foot step deck, right? The driver is a newer driver. He's not really too good with tarping, not too good with big oversized loads, do not haul coils, anything like that. So if we was to rate this driver on, 1 to 10, 10 being an expert, 1 being just a total rookie, he would be right in that 6 range, right? So I would say that this driver done really good to say he's like at this 6 range, right? He's learning, he's getting better. So yeah, and he's starting to run a little bit harder now. So once again, he started out at, Bearden, Arkansas to Houston, Texas. Let me cut this off in my ear. Bearden, Arkansas to Houston, Texas. And the empty miles was 100 miles, which deadhead miles. And then he, loaded miles is 370 loaded miles. So for a rate, which is going to be the loaded miles, right? 270 per loaded mile. And then he picked up a load out of Houston and went right to Portland, Texas, okay, which was $1,200. Empty miles was 0 miles. And then he have loaded miles, 199 loaded miles. Very, very short one, right? And then he reloaded 18 miles up the road in Texas, okay, and went over to Shreveport, Louisiana, 429 miles, pretty long run for 280 a mile, right? 280 a mile is not bad on a lot of miles, but 280 a mile on 429 miles, it's not really so good, right? That's close to 500 miles. Um, something like that, we're looking to get $3 plus, but it's all good. And then we did a Ruston, Louisiana to Rome, Georgia, $1,550 total, and did 68 miles, deadhead, 504 miles, loaded for $3.08 for loaded miles. All right. Now, this driver actually was gonna get a uh $2,700 load coming out of Alabama over the weekend, going down to San Antonio, and was gonna deliver it on Sunday. But what happened was at this drop off right here, he got stuck because the people who loaded him loaded up wrong. So the freight got damaged, all kind of craziness. So he was stuck there all day. So we had to, so if he would have done 2,700, I mean, you can do the math on that. He would have actually been an extra, so the 1250, 27. Let's say he would have been between 7, 8,000 instead of that 6,200 for sure, right? But he got stuck with this load, with the $1,250 load over the weekend because he had to pick up on a Saturday, right? And unload that on Monday, which was from Statham, Georgia to Wartburg, Tennessee, right? He had a deadhead, which is basically on the other side of Atlanta, 113 miles, and then loaded miles 270. We thank the Most High, yeah, that we got that load, so it's all good. That was $4.63 a mile. So all in all, total, which was for all miles, that's empty and deadhead miles, right? You can see the formula in there. Empty and deadhead miles, you got 2,071 total miles and ran for $2.99 a mile, 6,200 bucks, right? Not bad. All right. So that was the first week of the year. And then we got week two. Let's go in week two. As I said, this driver is getting better. He's starting to learn more on how to, actually strap down the loads. Like, it was taking him forever to strap the loads, chain the loads, and tarp the loads, stuff like that. But he's learning, he's getting faster. He's learning how to actually run the oversized loads to where, he's learning that, hey, you got to run certain states early during the day instead of waiting at night to run. He's getting there early in the morning, stuff like that. So he's getting better, right? And he had some issues, like some issues with the truck. And he caught a blowout, stuff like that. But this guy's getting better. The reason why I'm keep bringing it up, because remember, I'm rating him at like a level 6 when it comes down to what type of driver he is, right? So if take these numbers of what this guy is making with a 53-foot step deck, all of these loads are legal loads. None of these loads are oversized loads. None of these are coils. All of these loads are like easy loads, and you can see what we're making and the type of miles we're running and the type of money we're making, right? So if you know that you're a level 7, 8, 9, 10, you're a beast driver, you can make a lot more money than this, right? So what was the last? He finished off in Tennessee. So the very next load, which was crazy, we wasted a day because you can see right here on Monday we ran no load. He did head up to a certain part of Kentucky, got there to pick up the machine. They told him, hey, the machine is not here. It's actually in Louisville. Like, wow. Okay, cool. So talked to the lady. She said, hey, how much would you charge me to go up to Louisville? I said, hey, just throw us an extra couple $100. He'll just lay over. And then that's what he did. He laid over until the next day, which was a Tuesday, and picked up this load out of Louisville, Kentucky. So he had to deadhead a good bit, 250 miles basically, right? So He did hit up to Louisville, Kentucky, and delivered that in Little Rock, Arkansas. So total loaded miles was 521 miles. We see it paid 2,600 bucks, 499 on 521 miles. But understand this: the it's 521 miles, but it's $4.99 a mile. But understand the reason why it's 499 because we have more of the layover that's in there. So understand that, right? Just I don't want people to think that, I'm not saying that we don't book $5 a mile loads, but understand that does have some layover in that. So just keep that in mind, right? So then we picked up right out of Little Rock, went right to Beaumont, Texas. No deadhead on that. And we got 515 loaded miles, right? Which is 272 a mile, right? Um, then we have Westlake. He did hit it out of Westlake. They hit from Beaumont, Texas to Westlake, Louisiana, which is 58 miles, right? Cheap load. Well, I'm not gonna really say a cheap load because it only went 190 miles, right? But it was just a low load. It was late in the evening because I think. Oh, actually, let me back up. This load had two stops, right? I forgot about that because it went from Little Rock, Arkansas, and then he went to Houston, Texas, and then delivered in Beaumont. And he had to get stop and get some supplies for the truck or something like that. But it worked out. So he actually loaded this load at about like um 2, 3 in the evening, right? So that was still good, right? So we just wanted to get something to keep the wheels moving instead of not getting nothing. So we booked this load for 850 bucks. Like I said, deadhead miles was 58, loaded miles was 198, $4.29 for loaded miles, right? And then we come out of West Monroe, Louisiana to Hamburg, Arkansas, and we have 63 miles, right, on a deadhead. And then we have 317 loaded miles going up to Sabine Pass, Texas. And we have 3.31 a mile on that one, right? And then he'll be delivering first thing in the morning. Uh Picked up over the weekend because he caught two blocks on the trailer tire, whatever with that. So he couldn't reload on Friday, had to deliver over the weekend. And luckily we got another load over the weekend. We're gonna deliver that on Monday. And here we are from Baytown, Texas, Theodore, Alabama, 1,379 empty miles, 447 miles um for the loaded miles. So you can see that all miles is 270 plus a mile, right? We're averaging for all miles loaded and empty miles put together, we're averaging right at uh 2,094 cents a mile. That's basically for 2,450 miles. Not bad, right? Not bad. 7,200 bucks. Not bad. Easy running, smooth sailing, not really driving too far into the night, not getting up 2, 3 in the morning, just, kind of easy coasting. None of these loads was tarp loads at all. None of these was hauling coils, sitting at the, metal companies all day, anything like that, right? So let's go over the RGN next, right? I see we got comment that is painful. I'm assuming you're talking about the deadhead going up there when he deadhead up there to get the load and the load wasn't available. Yes, if that's what you're referring for, that was definitely painful, right? Yeah, Nucor. Well, it depends on which Nucor. I mean, the Nucor that we used to go to in what is that around Mobile? What is that? What is that around Mobile? We used to pull out of there all the time. Somebody help me out. Around Mobile, Alabama. Um, I forgot, but anyway, it'll come to me. But it's around Mobile, Alabama, a little north of Mobile, Alabama. Um, But yeah, that one and the one up in Birmingham, yeah, that was Tuscaloosa, whatever that is, pretty fast. You're right about that. So let me pull up this RGN. We'll go over that numbers, which is the specialized trailer. Doo doo doo. Oh, it's the same truck. All right. So the rates. This is actually the white truck that I posted a video about that I paid only 7 grand for. So it's still rolling, still making money. For all of the comments that everybody posted on the video saying that the truck was, um not gonna make it and stuff like that, which is very crazy for people to say. Um, yeah, so it's still rolling. So that's we going. All right, cool. So let's go into this one. This is like I said, it's gonna be a RGN 29 in the well, nothing special, just a basic RGN, right? Basic RGN, basic RGN. So RGN 29 in the well. Once again, the market is down right now, but we still holding on. We still doing some good numbers as of right now, right? So we started out, we have a St. Martinville, Louisiana, to Houston, Texas. We have empty miles, 114 miles, and then we have 231 loaded miles. This was, of course, an oversized load. No escorts needed. In No escorts needed. Just basic, oversized load. I believe the same model. It was a little tall and a little wide. Nothing crazy, right? Paid 2,450 bucks on that for 231 loaded miles. And then we come out of Houston, deadhead over to Resharon, Texas, which is 32 miles. And then went to Cameron, Louisiana. Horrible place to get a reload. Like, horrible place to get a reload. There's nothing down there. It's just a bunch of construction going on. I think they building like a power plant and some offshore stuff or whatever like that. But that paid pretty good. $2,300 on 160 miles and 32 empty miles. Really good. That was a overweight load. It only weighed 54,000 pounds, nothing oversized, anything like that. I think it was like a six, they call it like a six pack. It's basically these machines that picks up that can like drive around heavy stuff, short mile, like short distance, to like put big machines together. And then we finished off deadhead up to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and picked up a oversized load going down in Houston, Texas. That paid 2250 on 255 miles, but 164 deadhead miles. So for the week, we averaged at $7.28 a mile on 961 miles. Not bad. Gross $7,000 for the week, but after permits, we have $6,736 uh net after permits, right? So we didn't do bad. And then the next week, once again, that's the RGN 29 in the well. Didn't do bad. So for week 2, after that, where we came out, so we did hit out of Houston and we picked up in LaPorte, Texas, which is 33 miles, delivered over to Covington, Louisiana. Notice now, we're staying in the South. We're not going far. We're not running long. We're not running all over the place, right? Remember, this is a truck that has 1,000,000 miles on it. Okay. Notice what I'm doing. All right. Peep game. What I'm doing, y'all. None of these loads are going north of I 20. So I'm not battling any hills, not going in any mountains. Like I'm not making no hard pulls. I'm staying on flat ground for the most part, right? And I'm running short runs. You understand what I'm saying? So even I'm not making it seem like, oh, I went bought this truck for with a million miles on it and I'm running it, running the tongue out of it because I'm not. I'm running it short. I'm running on flat ground. um and I'm keeping it, in Texas and in Louisiana where my mechanics is, so that way if for some reason, it does break down or something, like I can get it fixed for a really really good price. That's another thing, people saying that the prices I'm telling y'all that I'm getting my trucks fixed for is not true, which is very much so true. I have nothing to lie about, but anyway, I digress. So LaPorte, Texas to Covington, Louisiana, $2,400. uh $2,400, 33 empty miles, 328 loaded miles. That pays $7.32 per loaded mile. That was a LaPorte to Covington. So what was that? Oh, that was like this big some big box or something. It was like 12 wide. That's it. It was good to go. New Orleans, Louisiana to then they head over to New Orleans, Louisiana, going to Pollock, Louisiana. That paid $1,400. It was a legal load, just a legal wheel loader, nothing heavy, nothing oversized, nothing like that. Went 218 loaded miles, 40 empty miles, 218 loaded miles. That pays $6.42 per loaded mile. Then we have Addis, Louisiana to Alexandria, Louisiana. They paid 1,075, and we basically ran two of them. That's why we have 145 deadhead, 136 loaded, which this should be 136 as well. So that changed things. And then we basically just turn around, deadhead all the way back. It was a legal load, not heavy, not over. It's just these little excavators, and we just ran two of them, and that's what we have for the week, right? Truck's probably not gonna run tomorrow. Tomorrow's Martin Luther King Day. They're probably not gonna have no load or anything. And then I gotta do some work on that truck. I gotta put some stuff in it and kind of set up a little bit better. And then that's it. So for the whole week, loaded and empty miles, we only ran 1,100 miles. Let's just say 1,200 miles for the whole week, and still made 6 grand gross, right? After permits, 5,800, right? Loaded miles was only 818. Okay. So we're averaging out on all miles $5.11. That's pretty good, yo. Like that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So once again, this is the RGN 29 in the well, mechanical neck. This is a $7,000 truck, and this trailer costs $500 a week to rent it. If you lease onto a company, like you don't have to have all of the stuff. Leverage a company that you can lease onto. Okay. And, you know, when you lease onto a company, let them front the expenses. Yes, they're going to make their money when it comes down to the lease fee, but it is what it is. Look at them as the bank. All right. Whatever you have to pay them in percentage on a lease fee, look at them as the bank and look at them as someone who works for you. You're getting a 2-for-1. You're literally hiring people to do all of this back office work, set up the MC, get the insurance, deal with the, FMCSA, deal with DOT, deal with the tickets, deal with IFTA, deal with all of this stuff, right? And you're paying them to do all that, and they can front money from you. What do I mean by fronting up the cost? They can front you some fuel cards. They can front you a trailer. Most places that you lease onto, they can give you a trailer. They can front you some license plates. Like it's a lot of different things that they can offer you up front if you can bring them you in a truck. Just a truck and a driver. And you can start making money. You can start cash flowing, right? This is why the name of the channel is Trucking to Cash Flow. A lot of people don't understand in trucking, you have to cash flow. If you do not cash flow, you will go out of business. You cannot, this is not a business that you get in your feelings, okay, and you stop the money from flowing. You don't do that. Once again, it's a $7,000 truck that just grossed out and made 6 grand. Um, and let's just say you pay a lease fee of, 15, 20%. You do the math on that, you give them that and insurance and stuff like that. They're gonna front everything for you. This is something that we can help you guys out with ourselves by leasing on to us. But if not, it's okay. They have a lot of good companies out there, right? A lot of people complain about the companies up in Chicago. I don't know. I didn't have bad experiences with them. I had actually good experiences with them. I still do some business with them as well right now. So I would encourage you, hit me up. You can lease on to us or lease on to someone else. If you join our free community, uh, I'll leave the link down in the chat below. But if you join our community, you can ask me some questions and I can refer some companies to you, right? Or just, what type of questions you should ask before you lease on to a company. But you want to get your truck cash flowing and stuff like that. There's a lot of pros to there's a lot of pros to leasing on to a company, right? A lot of pros. One of the pros is if your truck break down and you're flat broke, guess what? They're going to help you get that load delivered. They're probably going to help you get your truck fixed. They're probably going to, they possibly can give you a rental truck. Like it's so many things that they can do. It's so many things that they can do, right? So once again, just know that and make a decision, or you can set your own authority up, right? Set your own authority up, run for yourself, right? So next we're gonna go into. So we just seen what two trucks of my own is running um for the open deck. Want to talk to y'all a little bit about the reefers and dry vans. I know on this channel we usually don't talk about that, but I'm gonna talk about it because people keep asking me whatever, whatever. So I'm gonna just touch on a little bit. Right now they're actually doing good, right? I usually talk about them all the time, right? Because they don't make money. But right now, hey, they're making money. They're doing pretty good. I thought it was going to end at the end of Christmas, but they're actually making money, especially the reefers. I have like uh we have like 3 owner operators that's doing reefer right now. And they are running from that Indiana Midwest area going down to Florida, and they like going back and forth, and they're doing 8 to 10 a week, right? And they're not doing no illegal miles, by the way, right? They're running the logbook and they're rolling. Now these guys know what they're doing and know how to do the reefers. They're not getting the claims and stuff like that. They're doing that 8 to 10 right now, kind of consistent. Now they're running hard. They're not running no 2,000 miles like my trucks, 2,000, 2,500. They're running 3,000, 3,300 miles a week. They getting it. So the reefers is doing good. The dry vans is doing actually good right now as well in the Midwest, stuff like that. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why the money. Well, I'm gonna say this. I believe this is my assumption. I assume that because a lot of trucking companies are going down, they're going out of business, and they have this thing with the license, and they're revoking license and they're shutting down MCs left and right. Trump is and his administration is going crazy. Um, but hey, I rock with Trump, right? I do. He's doing this thing. I like what he's doing, right? He's not going to get everything right, but hey, who does? So anyway, that's that, but yeah, so I believe that's a lot has a lot to do with the market and why it's kind of pretty good. Oil field is doing good. I'm actually thinking about putting a truck out there. They doing pretty good. I don't want to disclose the numbers yet because I don't have proof. I have some guys that's telling me that they're, out there. I have a friend of mine. He went out there, and I have another guy that's out there right now. Um, they said they're doing some pretty good numbers. I didn't see anything on paper, so I don't have any proof. I'll wait to tell y'all when I get a truck out there. But I'm like I'm like 75% thinking about putting a truck in the oil field, which is gonna be uh right now North Louisiana, like northwest, which is the Shreveport area, and or I might put them out west. I don't know, but they're supposed to be taking home after everything. Okay, okay. After few, excuse me, after everything, they're supposed to be taking home that $5,000 to $7,000 a week. After everything, right? So that's pretty good. Um, that's pretty good. If we take $5,000, but they gotta work 7 days a week. I don't really like that. But hey, look, if I got a guy out there working 7 days a week and we making, 5 grand, I'ma pay him good. I can take home, 1,500, 2,000. I'm good with that, so he can live in a truck and do his thing. But so that's the reefer market, the drive-in market, that's the oil field market. I will definitely keep y'all updated with the oil field when I put a truck out there. All right. So let's get to some of these questions. If you have any questions, put them in the chat, right? Put them in the chat and I will answer them. Okay. But if not, I'm going to move over to the questions in the on the channel, right? Which is on the my back office in the studio. All right. So let's see. All right. Do 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 do. I had some questions pulled up. It's crazy, man. It's crazy some of these. Man, it is crazy some of these comments that I get. Y'all, which y'all might not be surprised, or you might be surprised, right? But man, some of these some of these comments I get is like real crazy. But let me see if I can share my screen, right? Mm, 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 mm. All right, cool. So we have, maybe I can make it bigger. No. All right, so we have bass knots without the load board, question mark. Where you get the loads, question mark. Looking to get a truck, power only, starting, not sure how the flatbed works with permitting and how step deck works versus regular flatbed. Down the road, taking in account drive-in or reefer with drive-in and power only being the lowest earning. Okay, so without load board, what do I get loads? I make connections. I've been in the business a while, so I get emails. People call me direct. They're constantly telling me, "Hey, keep my number, call me up," stuff like that. So I have my own network. But the most of my loads come off the load board. Let me just say that. Um, look, you say you're looking to get a power only. I did that years and years ago when I first started out. Back then, 10 plus years ago, when it was just, I don't know how the market's looking with the power owners like that right now. So I wouldn't advise that because I just don't have the data on that. So I just don't want to tell you to do that or advise you on that. I just don't have the advice. I don't have the data on that. But how we used to do it, we used to get the drive vans from like XPO, TQL, um, uh this other company, CH Robinson, stuff like that, and we'll get them as loadout trailers. And when we get them, we'll be able to keep them for like 10 to 14 days. We would, might pick it up in, a lot of times we'll pick it up in like Indiana or somewhere in Wisconsin or Illinois area, and then they have to go to like Texas area or something like that. We'll keep them for 10 to 14 days. There'll be a loadout trailer. We will make sure that they were a 53-102-inch wide with swing doors, not roll-up doors. All right. And we would load those trailers out. for as long as we can, keep them, make money with them, and then we'll turn them in. Right? Sometimes you could be a little late with them; they probably wouldn't care, but we'll just turn them in, so they'll just pay you. That's how we used to do the power onlys, right? I didn't really, sometimes we would do the power onlys, the actual load that would pay you to run it. That was an actual load. But most of the time we would just get a load out trailer, van trailer, and just run a load out trailer or a step deck. Or a flatbed. Right? Because sometimes you get a power only flatbed. As long as you got your chains and binders and stuff like that on your truck, you can get a flatbed. Basically treated like a rental, right? So that's that. All right. So next question. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh man, look at this guy. Stop lying to newcomers. The market is terrible, and an old truck will cost more on repairs and towing costs. Please stop. Man, what did I tell this guy? And I usually don't act like this, but I had to. I think, what did I say? You must be one of the 30-year-old broke truckers that can't retire and hate brokers. Stop crying and get on a W-2 and get a 401k. Now, I didn't want to be ugly to the guy, but I'm just tired of, like, man, listen. If you believe that the market is terrible, get out of trucking. That's it. Like, get out of trucking, man. Like, get out of the trucking industry. That's all you got to do. Or go get a company job, right? Because you don't want to do the work. And, when the market's good, you all with it. But when the market's bad, you want to cry and you want to jump ship. Man, come on, man. Like, it's business. This is how it go. If you're not gonna stick it out, like, just get out. Just get out of trucking, man. That's it. Uh, Okay, so this guy said the only part I don't agree with, which is the video that I made about buying a cheap truck, and he said the only part I don't agree with you on is selling the truck for parts if the engine goes down. Because once you go looking for another truck, it's damn near going to be the same risk as buying another truck that might have issues you don't know about. Fix the engine and then go buy multiple cash trucks. Fix the engine and then go buy multiple cash trucks. Everything else you said is right on. G, keep paying it forward. Got you, brother. So I hit him back. Appreciate your perspective, right? Hit him with a thumbs up because I do. Basically, what I was saying about sell the truck, meaning you don't have to go all the way out of business, right? If you're willing to part the truck out, you can part the truck out and at least get half of your money back. Me, if I part the truck out, I would probably get close to, for what I paid for the truck, I probably get close to what I paid for the truck, right? But that's me. Everybody's not like that. Someone says, how and where to buy a used truck, how to check if it's a good one. I'm actually gonna make a video on that. I'm probably gonna make a video on that tomorrow. I'm gonna take a note on that. I'm probably gonna record a video on that tomorrow on how to check a truck, right? But I don't know if I'm gonna upload it on YouTube or I'm gonna put it in a school group, right? So you might have to join a school group and then I'll put it in there. But basically, how and where to buy a used truck. My favorite spot right now is Facebook Marketplace. You can get some of the craziest deals on Facebook Marketplace, right? Crazy deals on Facebook Marketplace. The when you go to truckpaper.com, you have to understand, because I was gonna sell some trucks on Truck Paper years ago. And when you call them up, I think it was like a it was like a either it was like a couple $100 a month. I can't remember exactly how they wanted to do it. It was just high. It was like something crazy. They told me I had to pay them a month, and then or it was either I can pay them a month or excuse me, I was gonna have to pay them a percentage of what I sold the truck for. So I don't know, something crazy like that. Whatever it was too much. So I sold some trucks on Craigslist and I think Facebook Marketplace at the time, right? So I would say definitely buy your trucks off of check with Facebook Marketplace, right? Uh Beer Gut Boomer says bought my FLD in 2004 direct from the Miller Finance. They had a field of off lease mega fleet trucks. Got it. Yeah, that's kind of going around right now as well. Um, if you can catch some financing companies that finance trucks, instead of looking to finance it, well, you can look to finance a truck through them, but you can like Google or go to ChatGPT, ask it, hey, give me, truck finance companies. Oh, I might do this myself right now because I used to do this back in the day. But I might actually do this now. But you can call them up and you can actually say, hey, do you have some repos or like off market that you haven't listed yet? You haven't, you know, you haven't like listed yet or anything like that. Basically, it's gonna be like what they would call a off market deal, right? So with that being said, do that. That'll be great as well, right? Do, and I'll do the video on how to check a truck because there's certain things that you need to look out for. The main things, what I call the put you out of business things to look for. Of course, you got to check the tires and the brakes and the this and the that and all that and how it drives and all that. Yes, but I'm talking about the main things, which is gonna be more of the does it have a crack head? Does it have a crack block that what type of is it smoking? Are you hearing any funny noises in the block? Does it, is the injectors good? The transmission, did you do an oil sample? It's just a lot of different things, right? And it just all depends on how much money you're about to spend for this truck. How much time do you have to check the truck? Do you have enough time to send off an oil sample? Do you have enough time? Can you pull a load with the truck when you're checking the truck? Because remember, when you checking a truck, I don't care if it's a new truck or old truck. If you're bobtailing in this truck, right, it can run nice. In the minute you put it on their load, it can run totally different. All right. So just something to think about. Right. Do do do. Guy says you're lying for YouTube. Okay, whatever. You know. Uh Bear Gut Boomer says, pay the money to get the diagnostic software. A big off-lease fleet truck may have all sample history. Got you. You're right about that. I was thinking about, I looked up some software. Give me some feedback, right? Maybe you have some. Tell me this, right? Give me some advice, right? I was thinking about getting the software myself, but if they deleted the codes, would I still be able to see the history? Or can they delete that as well? Talk to me about that. Because if they delete all the codes and you go check it, then what? Well, I guess you can go drive the truck, run the truck, and then the code should come back, I guess. So yeah, maybe that's a thing. But give me some feedback on that, right? Uh okay. So this is something that I wanted to definitely answer. Keep it exclusive 4148, and I might clip this so I can put it in a reel or something so I can, because I want to answer this for this guy. This guy said, I think it's a guy. He said, or she said, what can you do when you basically are flat broke and can't get a loan for a truck, and no company will hire you because a cell phone on deck? I'm at point where I'm switch fields and come back possible, but I gotta be trucking on my own terms. I had some company reach out for lease purchase, but that's shady to me because the possibility of being upside down due to not good loads. All right. So first thing first with this. All right. If you are flat broke, this is what you said. This is not me saying this. You said this. If you're flat broke, uh, then you say you have a cell phone violation on your record. All right. You can't say things like you want to be trucking on your own terms. You don't have no terms, my brother. you need to, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, and I'm telling you this because you asked. All right, so I'm gonna give you advice with this. I will humble down and I will go trucking for someone who would take me. Uh, the companies that everybody complains about in Chicago, they will accept you. All right. Get with the best company as possible that will accept you, that will pay you some good money so you can keep trucking, because what happens is when you stop trucking, you stop utilizing your license and you have a gap in your trucking history. A lot of companies will not hire you, right? You have to basically, if you have a 1 or 2 year gap in your driving history, they won't hire you, right? It's crazy to me, but hey, this is what they do. So I would say keep trucking, don't get out the game, stay in the game, but go just get with a better company that will hire you. If you filling out 10 applications a day, that I would recommend, 5 to 10 a day, every single day, literally every single day, you will get a position. You said that they had some lease purchase options. Maybe go with a straight lease and not a lease purchase, right? So where they have some type of maintenance program in it, right? Uh though they have some out there that you can bring home 2 to 3 thousand a week. Some people look at it like, oh man, that's not that's company driver money. Yeah, kind of, sort of, not really. Let me tell you why companies are doing this. And I'm going to be honest, because remember, I'm a fleet owner. So I know exactly why. And I'm partnered up with trucking companies that have a lot of trucks, right? One of my close partners, he's got about 40 trucks. So this is the reason why a lot of companies is going to the straight lease or the lease purchase, is because a lot of company drivers back in the day has messed that up. This is what happens when you are a company driver and you hit a curve and you catch a blowout. We kind of don't know if it was your fault or not. Now we have to send a roadside to fix tires, and we like 1,000, $1,500 in the hole. We have to eat that. If you're not checking the oil as a company driver, and now this engine blows, we have to deal with that. If you ran a truck hot and didn't put coolant in it, and you didn't want to pull over on the side of the road when the temperature, light came on or whatever, and you like ran a truck to the next exit and you ran it hot, we got to pay for that. If you want to show up late to a delivery and they want to take out $200-300 on the load, um, and you're only making a certain percentage, like you see where I'm going with this, so the company driver model is not like it used to be. It's not really beneficial for the trucking company, because the driver, when you really think about it, even if you're a company driver, you still kind of work for yourself, right? One of the first thing they say as a when you get hired on is no forced dispatch. Well, that's kind of for on operators. The first thing that people will say when they get hired on, I don't run up north, so it doesn't matter to me. But a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll say, I don't do New York, I don't do Massachusetts. Like, they'll just automatically tell you what they don't do. They come in the door telling you, hey, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't do this, I don't do that, right? So with that being said, look at it from the owner position, and that model is just getting outdated, and it's just not that good of a model anymore. That's why everybody's going more to the straight lease or the lease purchase, right? Which is a good thing for the driver. Why? Because now the driver can get a truck. You just got to get in the right lease purchase truck, which I'm going to do a video about that to kind of help people understand what type of lease purchase you should get into. Some of these companies are robbing drivers out of their money, and they're just slaving for a truck that they're never going to get. So that's what I would do. I would humble myself, go work for somebody that will hire me, get paid what I'm gonna get paid, go run a truck hard, live on the road, get rid of all my expenses, and make me some money, right? So we got something in the chat. What we got? Beer Gut Boomer. I had to work on percentage right out of prison. That's what's up, bro. Bring back some memories. But anyway, local guy let me on. I got 33%. He got 66%. Ran containers out of Jacksport. Uh 1 year plea bargain. Renewed my CDLs, hazmats, and 2 years car before report. That's what's up, bro. Yeah. Listen, I had came home, and when I come home, I went straight on the road. Straight on the road. Straight on the road. I'm like living in the truck, not playing no games. And it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. But you know, and I couldn't. I took a plea deal, got a conviction, and they had some companies. And this was after I owned my own company, by the way. This wasn't like I just was getting in the game. Had a lot of experience, had track record, long. They a lot of I couldn't even lease on with a truck, let alone get a job. It was like, hey, look, you got this conviction, you got this conviction. I'm like, wow, it's like it's a new conviction, whatever. So yeah, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? They're on hunger, 12K behind on child support, 10,000 in fines, and on probation. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Got my CDL in 1994. Yep, my probation officer, her husband worked for RNL. He was cool, gave me a 48 state travel. That's another thing. I had to come and I have to be forgetting about all this stuff. I had to check in once a week in person in the beginning, once a week in person. I would call and they would tell me, hey, yeah, why are you calling us? I'm like, hey, look, I'm on the road. I was wondering, can I stay out another week? They would tell me straight up, hey, Mr. Perkins, yeah, you got, you're supposed to be in here on this day. We want to see you bright and early, 8 o'clock in the morning. Wow. To renew my pass. Slavery, basically. I had to get a pass. You dig? Gotta go in, check you, take a drug test, all this type of stuff, whatever, and get your pass renewed. You dig? So yeah, been there, done that, did all that, right? Saying all that to say, man, look, like the brother just said, a lot of people out here, they're not hungry, man. They're not hungry. They're not hungry. Let's see. Uh more questions, more questions, more questions. Mm. Do, 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 do. Uh, mm, God says Jaden Lavellis. I think that's it. I've been trying to reach out. Are you looking for drivers? Yes, looking for drivers. Text 985-326-1699 or hit me up on Instagram at Trucking the Cash Flow. Once again, 985-326-1699 or hit me up on Instagram at Trucking the Cash Flow. Gunzu. How much does it cost for the DOT number and what's reasonable insurance for tractor and trailer? DOT number is free. If you all you got to do is apply for your MC number and you get the DOT number for free. The MC number is $300. I would say be careful on which state that you open it up at, because all states are not going to give you the best insurance rate. I'm gonna give you a little gem when it comes to that. How can I say it? Because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I would open it up in Texas, northern Texas. You have to have a physical address to do this. You cannot do it with a virtual address. People that know what I'm talking about, they understand what I'm saying right now. You have to have a physical address. I would open it up in Texas or Arkansas or New Mexico. Out that way. I would stay away from Louisiana, Mississippi, like Alabama. especially Georgia, Florida. I wouldn't touch none of those. Try to get Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, something like that. Uh, Mainly Texas. Do Texas, get you a address in Texas. The DOT number is free. You're gonna spend $300 for the MC number. You're gonna spend about $100 for the BOC3, but you have to get a registered agent. Get your registered agent when you open up the business in Texas. I think that's gonna be like $300 to $500 to start the business in Texas. You're gonna get the when you get the business, try to get the register, whatever register, because in the state of Texas, you need a registered agent. This is a person that's going to receive mail for you, legal documents, not all mail, legal documents. If somebody's trying to sue you or something like that on your behalf, this is required to do in the state of Texas when you open up a business. Okay, so but you want to uh get the registered agent to be able to be a registered agent for your business, but also be a registered agent for your BOC3, right? Come in a school group. I'll give you this whole breakdown. It's no big deal. We'll, like I said, we'll leave a link in the description or in the chat or whatever like that. Let me put it in the chat now, actually. Let me put it in the chat now so you can have it. All right. So it should be a pinned message inside the chat right now. You can hit the link, come inside the school group, and you will be able to see it. All right. But that's how you uh want to do that. And then when it comes down to insurance, the uh the insurance, if you're in Texas and you have some good insurance connections, you'll probably be about 4,000 down. And this is, once again, this is predicated on you have a decent driving record, or your driver has a decent driving record. You can, you'll be about 4,000 down and about, you know, 2,000 a month on insurance for a brand new authority. And that's how you do that. Once again, come inside the school group and you get some help with that. All right. Let's keep going. Do 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 do. And if anybody else have some, I'm monitoring Instagram. Try to do Facebook. They wouldn't let me. I'm monitoring Instagram questions and comments in Instagram, YouTube, and I'm going over these questions on the videos. I'm just trying to catch up, y'all, because I have a lot of questions that's been asked. All right. So I'm just trying to catch up with them. Okay. Do 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 do. Um. Mm, 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 mm. Uh, how do you speak with me once again? Come into the uh school group or hit me up on Instagram. Da, 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 da. How many miles and how much you pay, bro? I don't. Okay. Oh, okay. That's for the truck. Yeah, it has 1,000,000 miles and I paid 7 grand for the truck. Do, 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 do. What else we got? What else we got? How did you get a steer tire that cheap? Also, did you find so many back-to-back loads that paid that many cents per mile? Well, the steer in the video, I didn't get a steer tire for cheap. I already had a steer tire. If you watch the video and pay attention, the loads that I got back to back, they was okay lows. They wasn't, they wasn't. Y'all gonna see a big difference when the market flips around. Like these lows that we're running, they're like we're not. These are not like high paying lows. They're okay, but they're not like high paying loads. They're okay. You know what I mean? When the market flip, you're gonna see. Go back and watch some of my older videos when we're doing $10,000, $16,000 a week, right? $15,000 a week. It's slow, and it's the beginning of the year, which is typically it's slow anyway. Around that time, right? So that was it was okay. Some okay numbers. Uh, let's address this. Generated, yes. Made back, that's an accounting trick. 30-day expectation with no major breakdown possible. If you don't have years of experience, please understand, easier said than done. This is a guy responding to the video that I made when I talked about I bought a cheap truck and made my money back in 7 days. Listen, if you don't have experience at all and you will not do that much better buying a new truck, even with a warranty, than buying an old truck. I paid seven. Listen to what I'm saying, y'all. Because I've bought new trucks and I bought old trucks. I bought trucks for $3,500 a truck, upwards to 70 grand for a truck. I paid 7 grand for the truck. That is a down payment for a truck, y'all. Literally. If you're going to go get a newer truck, let's say that truck right there is a 2012. Let's say you do a 2020. All right, we're in 2025. You buy a 5-year-old truck. If it's 5-year-old truck, you probably, man, you maybe will get it at 400,000 miles, right? And listen, we have a comment right here. Okay. 803 Quan says that warranty keep in the shop longer, waiting on them to prove it. Man, facts. Listen, I was just about to go into this. I just was about to go into this. Okay. I'm gonna tell you a story. I bought 2 new Macs. All right. At the time, they were newer. They had about 400 something thousand miles on it. All right. I bought the trucks. I put down, actually, I didn't put no money down. Actually, that was the way that I done the deal. It's just, I knew the guy at the dealership, and basically what I did, which is totally legal, so I can disclose this information. What I did was, and if you have some people, y'all can do this. I know the guy, the salesman. The trucks was, I can't remember. I think it was like, I don't know, 40 grand or whatever like that, right? But they was worth more than that. I think I put on a purchase price for 50, and he bought the trucks for 40. He gave me 10 back, right? So actually, like something like that. I can't remember the exact deal, but however, what it did was, when I gave the money to the bank, I mean the money to the bank, I basically got my money right back because he gave me the change. I can't remember exactly how it went, right? I would have to think about it. All right. So I basically didn't put no money down on the truck. I actually probably got a little bit of money in my pocket. These trucks came with warranties. Okay. I had the truck a month. Went out with transmission issues. I had to get it towed to the shop. They kept the truck a month to fix it. Then when they fixed it, guess what? My driver got on the interstate and it did it again. Tell you another story. Had another Mac. Like I say, these were Max 6H61 CH613s. That was the models. I had another one. The motor went out in it in Alabama. Had to get the truck towed from Alabama all the way to Louisiana. That was a grip, couple racks. Put it in the shop. The company gave me $500 on a tow bill, and then it stayed in there 3 months to get the engine rebuilt because we had to do the whole approval thing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Guess what? The truck went right back on the road. It lasts another 3 months, and the motor went out again. Now, keep in mind now, I had to constantly pay the note on the truck while it was in the shop. Guess what? Got another story for you. Had a 2012 Freightliner like the one I got now. I bought that one with like 500,000 miles out of Houston, right? Years ago, it was a 10-speed, kind of basically identical truck that I have now. I paid like 45 grand for it. It had a Cummins in it. Nice truck. The truck went out with DEF issues. This was back in the day. I didn't really understand and know what I, know today about DEF, right? The truck was in New York. My driver was in New York. They had DEF issues. He could not go over 5 miles an hour. We didn't know what to do. This is real story that I'm telling y'all too. This is not like, it's no fluff. I'm not lying. This is for real, right? And the driver was actually a guy. If you go through my videos, you would see him. He's the guy on my videos that I was talking to. He was doing escorts, stuff like that. I had to fly him in. The truck went into the shop, had a warranty on that truck. I had to, actually, I didn't have a warranty on that truck, right? I had to fly him in, put him in another truck. He wound up quitting eventually. He left for a year. This truck stayed in the shop for a year, y'all, because they could not fix the DEF. I gave these people almost $20,000 over the course of a year to try to figure out how to fix this truck, and they couldn't fix it. They finally said it's fixed, right? The same driver wound up coming back. So funny. He came back, and the day that he came back, I needed to pick up this truck. I flew him right back to New York to pick up this truck. Guess what? The truck, all he did was, when he went to pick up the truck, I paid him the bill. Not like I said, I paid him over 20 grand. Now this truck that I paid $40,000 for, I'm still paying a note on it. I'm losing money, and I paid another 20 grand into fixing the truck. So now this truck that went up to 60 grand plus the interest that I'm paying on the loan, right? Remember that. I flew him up there. He got the truck out the shop. He pulled the truck out the shop. He started driving the truck. He called me. Man, this hurt me so much to my heart. I was like, you cannot be serious. He called me and said, boss man. I said, what's up? He said, man, I can only go 5 miles an hour. He was an hour up the road. It was nothing I can do to the shop. I couldn't get my money back. It was so wild, the issue with this truck. I called the man. This is when back in the day when deletes was illegal and everybody was scared or whatever. I said, man, enough is enough. I'm done. I called the delete man. I said, man, is there any kind of way you can do the delete virtually or something? He said, man, just disconnect the speed thermometer sensor from the transmission. I said, what? He said, yeah, just disconnect it. It should drive perfectly. You should be able to make it home. Driver went up under there, disconnected it, drove the truck for 2 weeks making money, made enough money, went got it deleted. That's all we had to do. The truck sat in the shop for a year and spent 20 grand. Now, these are all trucks that I bought that were newer, that had half the miles that this truck has. This truck has 1 million miles that I paid 7 grand for, older truck. These trucks were at the time were newer trucks. with under 500,000, and you can see the issues and the stuff that I've dealt with these trucks, right? Does that always happen? No. But at the same time, guess what? Things can happen. If it's a newer truck or an older truck, things can happen. So don't get so caught up on a newer truck versus an older truck. You just want to get a good truck in your price range. That's it. That's what you're looking for. Do not go after the one that looks good and all of that. You want a healthy truck and you want a budget truck, because in the times that's coming up, the people that has low overhead, they're the people that's gonna win. And we are going into a owner operator season where people that have low overhead and they can actually stay in business, they're gonna make money. Now, I'm not saying that you're gonna make a big boom in this big money, but you'll be able to make a profit and you'll be able to cash flow and you'll be able to stack chips over time, over the next couple years. All right, and you'll be able to get yourself in the right position when the market takes off. You'll own your equipment to be paid for, and you'll be good to go, right? So think about that. A lot of people not taking into consideration that they bought trucks at the peak of COVID when trucks was like sky high, right? And now they're stuck in these $2,000-3,000 truck notes, trailer notes, and they base, they personal life, they probably bought all this stuff in their personal life. They probably got 4, 5, 6, $7,000 a month in personal bills on top of the same thing for the company, and now they're mad at the market because the market is not taking care of ten to $15,000 a month in bills. Come on, man, you can't get mad at the market. Get mad at yourself. You know, not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that, but I'm just keeping it real, man. Y'all want to know how I'm in business and how I stay in business and how I'm like surviving and I'm making money. This is how I do it. I keep my overhead low. I don't go buy, you know, the new cars. And I used to do that. That's how I went out of business in the past. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I won't ever do it again, but it's a time for that, right? There's a time for that. You got to know when to pull a trigger on certain things and when not to, right? So a lot of people, they just don't manage their money well, and this is why they go out of business. So let's keep going. This guy said, give it time, you'll be broke like the rest of us. Nah, definitely won't be broke like you, bro, or like y'all, whatever. I used to be broke. I went through that season. That ain't gonna happen again. So, feel sorry for you though. But all right, cool. So let's keep going. Do 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 do. Mm, do do do. Mm, 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 mm. Guy said no brake replacing, no tire replacing. Why should I do that? I literally been driving a truck for over a month now and made, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what I've made with this $7,000 truck so far. Uh let's see. All right. So let's see if I can share my screen. This is the $7,000 truck, y'all. Right here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. We're on the 5th week. All right. This is what we made so far with this $7,000 million-mile truck that everybody is going crazy. I really appreciate that. All the guys in the comments that's going crazy, right? Y'all will be surprised the amount of comments that I'm getting on the video. Oh, the truck's gonna break. Oh, the motor's gonna blow up. Oh, you'll be broke like the rest of us. Blah blah blah. Let's see what we made so far. Well, the first week we made 7,146. Second week, we only paid put one load, made $1,300. The third week, we made 6,100. The fourth week, we made 6736, and the fifth week, we made 58 30. So let's calculate that. Let's pull out a calculator and see what we got. So first week we got 7146.61 plus 1300 plus 6100 plus 6736 plus 5830. Yeah, we made 27 grand. Like, we made 27 grand in 5 weeks. We only paid $7,000 for the truck. That's it. We did no major repairs to it. We only have, like, so far, like, I don't know, we had to put a AC condenser on it, $100 and something off of Amazon. We had to do $130 something for what was it? The air valve, and yeah, the speed thermometer just fell in. So I'm gonna put some super glue on that and glue it back, or I can buy a new one off Amazon or something online or whatever like that. So even if I paid a lease fee, right? Let's say I paid 16% lease fee out of that money, still made 22,000, right? Like, come on, man. Like this is, I'm talking to the people that want a truck. Go buy your truck. Make sure you check the truck, no doubt, but understand there's money to be made and you can make money. So with that being said, I'm gonna remember where we left off with the questions, and we'll pick up where we left off next week. With that being said, I'm gonna let y'all go. We've been on for an hour and a half. I had a great night with you all. If you're looking to lease on, text 95-326-1699 or hit me up on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram in the chat. Let's do that. Okay, let me put that in the chat now. Let me put that in the chat now, and you can hit me up on Instagram. All right, so I got my Instagram in the chat. All right. Also, you can go in the description of the video. I will add that in the description. And also, you can join the free school group. Come in there, ask me some questions, talk to me, you can inbox me, stuff like that. This is where I hang out. And like I say, hiring on operators, we're hiring drivers that's looking to come drive, whether it's one of my trucks or one of my partner trucks. It's a whole community of us. So if you're looking to get a job, you can get a job as well. And if you're looking for some help, maybe you're leased on somewhere else and you just need some help, come join the free school group and come chop with us with us. All right. We have a community of people that can help you out, and we would love to have you. All right. So with that being said, I will see y'all in the next live. Shalom, shalom.